Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and it is Monday, October the 25th, and I am here to represent DFS Coach Talk and discuss this really great 9-game main slate in the NBA. So we are excited to jump into this. We're going to set the stage for you, give you some lines and matchups, and get some of those lineups ready to smash the slate. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk, we'd love to have you check us out, dfscoachtalk.com. All kinds of memberships there, as little as a 3-day $10 attempt, which you can do to jump in there and try us out, and all different kinds of memberships for you. So we'd love to have you. If you've been with us a lot, we appreciate you. You know the routine at the beginning. Please hit that quick thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, now's the time to do it. Give us a quick comment as well. That really helps us move up the algorithm on YouTube. And hit that little alarm bell in the top corner. That'll let you know when all of our podcast posts, which are all in front of the paywall in basketball, football, baseball, and golf. So we'd love to have you do that. If you listen to us audio-wise, wherever podcasts can be heard, we have a contest once a month. So there's 6 days left in the contest. So this is the time to do it. Take a second, hit 5 stars, give a positive review, and we'll have a drawing at the end of each month for 1 free week of Coach Talk, all access. And again, if you join Coach Talk, you get all of our sports, nothing individual buy-ups, anything else. You're part of the family. You're in, and you are with us. So please give us a try. All right, we're going right into it aggressively here. We've got 9 games. We want to knock these suckers out. We've got some lines. We've got some information, and we're going to give you as much of that right here. And then as the day goes on, check us out. Jump in our Discord. We'll be following up on these lines. We'll be following up on the player news, any injuries, all of that information will get updated all the way up until lock. All right, here we go. First game, we've got 2 games at 7 p.m. First game is the Milwaukee Bucks at 2-1 at the Indiana Pacers at 1-2. The line is Milwaukee -3, and it's a 228.5 over under. So pretty healthy over under. Injury wise for Milwaukee, we have Portis as doubtful. He has not played yet, so not sure if he's going to get in there. One report has him as questionable. Maybe he does get some minutes, but we'll see. As far as Drew Holiday, it doesn't look like he's going to go. He's doubtful, so we're going to plan around that for now as him being out. And then DiVincenzo, Lopez, and Ogilvy remain out. For Indiana, Martin is a questionable tag. LeVert and TJ Warren remain out. All right, let's look at this a little bit from pricing and these lineups. Again, a couple of things to point out as far as strong plays here. I really like Chris Middleton. I want to start right out with him. I love when Drew Holiday sits, Chris Middleton plays somewhat of a pseudo point guard position. Has the ball in his hands more opportunity to score, more opportunity for assists. Just really love his spot at 7.2. Very fair price. I like this matchup. Always have to mention Giannis. He's always an option for the buy-up guy. He's 10-4 again on DK, but always certainly a strong consideration. He did not get it done for us last time out, but as you know, he can throw up 80 on the board fantasy points. So we'll see where that goes. As far as the guys that I'd look at for value here, Grayson Allen at 4.6, Connaughton at 4.7, and Nwora at 4.2. If you want to go GPP-ish, maybe a George Hill at 3.5. He gets those extra minutes when Holiday is out. After that, not going to go a lot deeper there. On the Indiana side, what can you say about Chris Duarte? My goodness, just taking the big shots. He's been phenomenal. Rookie of the year potential guy here, and he's only 5.4. So definitely into consideration for me. Again, when Holiday sits, It really hurts the Bucks' perimeter defense overall, even though he'd probably guard Brogdon, which elevates Brogdon if Holiday's out. It hurts all of the perimeter defense for the Bucks from a DRPM standpoint. So Brogdon and Duarte are both in play for me, but Brogdon is a big buy up at 7.9. He's been phenomenal, though. And Duarte, again, value at 5.4. Other than that, you've got Miles Turner, who had, broke the slate 2 games ago. This last game, he really disappointed, broke hearts, not the slate. But I think he's playable here. I think at 5.5, he's cheap for his potential. And, with Brook Lopez out, nobody in the middle of Milwaukee, really, as far as a big presence, other than, of course, the best maybe defender in the league in Giannis. But still, you don't have that big body in there banging around. So Turner's playable. Not on Sabonis today. Not going to recommend him. He's awesome. He's 9.9. I think he's going to get Giannis defense. And, this matchup just doesn't really fit for me at that price. I'd rather go elsewhere. All right. Game 2. Again, 7 o'clocker. It is the Boston Celtics at 1-2 at the Charlotte Hornets 3-0. How about the Hornets? This right now, you've got Boston -1. No over-under has yet been set. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as injuries go, we've got Romeo Langford as probable, and we have Jaylen Brown, who missed the game on Sunday, is now probable to play as well. He's also, they didn't want to play him on a back-to-back. I think he's going to play in this game, which definitely makes it tougher with Brown and Tatum at their price. And then Terry Rozier is questionable for Charlotte. That's news that we need because it really affects the Charlotte team and their rotation. But for now, let's take a look at this as far as, the Boston side. If Brown plays at 7.9, I don't know. On a back-to-back, is he going to get massive minutes? Now, earlier in the year, they said when he was questionable and he played 38 minutes. So it was an overtime game or double overtime or whatever. But the bottom line is, if you're comfortable with playing him and if Rozier sits, because Rozier's a scrappy defender, then Jaylen Brown elevates to me. So we need to get that news and firm that up. Don't want to play Brown and Tatum. Brown at 7.9 and Tatum at 8.7. You can choose really between the two of those. Go one or the other, depending on really a lot on that Rozier news. Other than that, Horford at 5.9 has been terrific. I can't believe that Horford's playing at this level again. It's amazing because looked like his career is pretty much washed up, but he's been consistent. Robert Williams at 6.1, a possible play at the big, but, not the greatest matchup here, but I think he could have a good game. It's just a matter of minutes. They protect his minutes at times, but I think both bigs are really in play and in consideration, especially in GPPs. On the Charlotte side, LaMelo Ball has been a star. 7.8 is fair for him the way he's playing. My problem is he gets Marcus Smart defense, and I always shade from that a bit. Ball certainly can be considered here, but I probably won't go there at that pay-up price. So we'll take a look at that. Rozier at 6.3, if he does play, it hurts the rest of the guys because from the usage he'll grab back. If he doesn't play, it'll probably be Kelly Oubre again in the starting lineup, which he becomes a consideration at 5.7. He started at the 2 on Sunday. So very interesting lineup, but it's working for them. Borrego's a good coach, like what he's doing there. As far as the other two guys, I want to mention here, Gordon Hayward at 6.9. I know that's a little pricey, but he's consistent. He's still their key go-to guy. He really is. Ball is going to make everything work, and he can be phenomenal. But Hayward is going to get the big shot, down the stretch and have the ball in his hands. The guy that broke the slate on Sunday was Miles Bridges. He was absolutely incredible. But here's the problem. He's 7.1. So I don't know if I can go, north of 7K for Miles Bridges. I think it's risky, and I'm probably not going to go there, although I really respect his game. I've been a Miles Bridges fan from when he was drafted, and I'm glad he's getting an opportunity to really be one of the cornerstones of that franchise. All right. We've got a couple of 7:30 games. Four games at 7:30 Eastern, and it's Detroit Pistons at 0-2 at the Atlanta Hawks 1-1. We have right now Atlanta a big 10.5 point favorite, over under only 213.5. So that's a big issue right there. That is a concern. Not crazy about this game right off the bat, I'll tell you. But as far as anybody, Kate, of interest here of injuries, Kate Cunningham remains out for Detroit, so we haven't seen the first pick overall's performance yet. Danilo Gallinari is questionable. He definitely takes some usage and shots away if he does play. He hasn't played yet, so we need to really find that news out. And Okongwu, the second-year center, remains out. So let's talk about these lineups a little bit and if anybody is playable in a game of this nature with this low of a spread. Sadiq Bey at 6.6 and is okay, but a little overpriced. Jeremy Grant at 6.3 is really a really solid price, and I think he'd be the guy I'd consider the most. Isaiah Stewart, not going to go that direction at 5.6 against Capella defense. Not crazy about the Detroit side. They're not a good team and just not scoring a ton. But Grant at 6.3 is a value. On the Atlanta side, you've got Trae Young at 9.3. Certainly a good potential buy up. He should go off here. The question is, it is a double-digit favoritism. Is it going to stay close enough for him to get those extended minutes? That is a concern to go up to a 9.3 for Trae, but certainly capable. You've got the problem now of two guys I like, but I'm not going to go there because it's now becoming somewhat of a split, and that's DeAndre Hunter at 4.5 and Cam Reddish at 4.7. They're both solid. I can't believe Hunter's lower than Reddish now, but Reddish is showing that he can really score the basketball, but not really thrilled about the splits there on the minutes. John Collins at 6.4, a little high. Clint Capella, at 6.8 is decent priced, but just really don't think that it's necessary to go to that number. So very possible a pass game for me unless I'm able to put Jeremy Grant in there. I don't think I'm going to buy up for the other bigger price guys. I think this game reeks of sort of a crappy game, lower scoring, and a possible blowout. So no reason to risk it on a 9-game slate, specifically when I'm building generally for cash and hybrid lineups. All right. Next game at 7:30, we've got Orlando and Miami. Magic are 1-2. Miami's 1-1. We've got injuries galore for Orlando still. Gary Harris is questionable. Michael Carter-Williams, Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Moore, Nokiki, all out. So half their team is out. Kyle Lowry is questionable. Very important to know for Miami. And then Victor Oladipo, we know, remains out. The game Cole Anthony had for Orlando on Sunday was unbelievable. I was lucky enough to have him rostered. Really couldn't believe the terrific game that he had. Can he have that back-to-back and against the Heat in Miami? I'm not going to go there, although, I loved him on Sunday. I just can't quite go there on Monday. And he's up to 6.2K. Suggs was a huge disappointment at 5.1. Franz Wagner shows some possibilities here, but he gets this rough Butler, Tucker, defense. So not going to go there either. The interior with Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba, is always interesting at 5.8 and 6.1. Just not feeling it, though. I think Orlando's going to be A little overmatched here. Miami team's a little irritated. I think they're going to come out and play tough. It would be nice to know about Lowry. If Lowry doesn't play, I'm going to go back to the well again on Tyler Hero. This dude is playing out of his marbles. He comes off the bench, but he plays a massive amount of minutes. He is 6.4, but I really like him. He's a dog, and he is in a groove. And, I'm going to stay on him until I feel like he's out of that zone that he's in right now. You can go cheap with Gabe Vincent at 3.1. He's going to get minutes if Lowry doesn't play. If Lowry plays, then Vincent is 100% fade, and it does take a chunk away from Hero. After that, you've got scoring dependent, somewhat Duncan Robinson at 5K. 8.8 for Jimmy Butler. He really hasn't had a massive Jimmy Butler game, really, where he's been slate breaker kind of material. That is a bit expensive. So I'm not sure that that's the best spot to go either. And Bam Adebayo at 8.1 has been terrific, but he does get the double bigs in there with Carter and Bamba to go against him. And, Bamba can block some shots. I do like Bam. He's athletic. But, this is not my favorite game on the slate either. I think that, there is potential there with a blowout, Miami being a 14-point favorite. And I think Vegas is going to see it that way as well. We don't have an over-under on this game, but definitely not my favorite on the slate. All right, we go to the third 7:30 game. It's the Washington Wizards at 2-0, the undefeated Wizards against the Brooklyn Nets at 1-2. As far as injuries, we have Beal as probable, and then Bryant, Gill, Hashimura, and Winston remain out. And of course, we know the Kyrie Irving saga with the Nets. Nets doing a lot of complaining today on the referees and no calls, a lot of moaning. They're mad. They're going to come out ticked off. I think this is a game that you got to really, stay aware of here. I think they're going to come out mad. They're going to come out ready to play. They're an 8.5-point favorite. The over-under is going to be big. That has not been set yet, but I like this game. This is one of the two key games on the slate for me. I think you're going to see Brooklyn step up. Harden didn't get to where he, would normally get with his number. I think he could be a monster. And then his counterpart on the other side, Spencer Dinwiddie. Here's a guy that was with the Nets, key player, and, had the injury, and then they just basically let him go along his way. So he's going to have a chip on his shoulder in front of the Brooklyn fans. I know he was a fan favorite there for a while before they brought in all the studs. So at 7K, Dinwiddie is in play for me, and Harden at 9.5. I'd love to have that duo go back and forth and really smash the slate between them. A couple other guys worth mentioning. Kuzma's all the way up to 6.7, but man, has he played great since the season started, and even in preseason. He's really showing that he's got some all-around game. He's hitting the boards like nobody's business as well. So, really exciting to see what the possibilities are there. But at that 6.7, that's going to be a hard thing to bite off. And the Nets, do you want to spend the 10.2 for KD? That's tough. That's a tough number. But he's phenomenal. I mean, certainly can be a slate leader here. But I know, and like I say, I think the Nets come out and play hard. You can only buy up for so many guys. Durant certainly, is the potential to be one of those guys. And if you have Harden and Durant, and somehow the Wizards keep this close enough, that could be powerful. But I'm leaning more right now to the Harden Dinwiddie pairing. After that, there's some value with some of the guys with the Nets, but in a 9-game slate, I really don't think you have to go there. And you got to be particular. You can't. That's the tough part. It's, NBA, when you're playing cash hybrid and even the GPPs, they're tough, man. You can't have guys, even one guy, just lay a huge egg and take a a 12 or a 14. So you got to avoid those pitfalls if you really want to cash and get it done. It's a competitive game, that's for sure. All right, we go to the last. We've got two more 7:30 games, I believe. Here, let's see, who do we have next? We have the Chicago Bulls and the Toronto Raptors. Chicago's 3-0, looking good with their new foursome of Ball, Levine, DeRozan, and Vukovic against the 1-2 Toronto Raptors. As far as the line in this game, it looks like we've got Chicago -3, only 212. So that's not a good thing. That's something we need to be concerned about and raise some red flags there. Kobe White out for the Bulls, Siakam and Watanabe out for Toronto. So let's look at this game as far as breaking it down a bit here. And we've got couple of interesting matchups here, and it's the key is going to be determining who is going to guard whom in this game, because the matchups are going to make a big difference. And I think that we'll see how that's going to unfold. But Ball at 7-1, Levine at 8-4, DeRozan at 7-3, and Vukovic at 9. Here's my issue with that. They do outmatch Toronto. I think that they're playing great. Any one of those four can really go 7, 8, 9x. It's very possible, but which one and what are the matchups that are going to be conducive, and are they going to share it too much? I mean, we've been complaining in the past when we have teams with 3 studs, where do you go? But now it's 4. I mean, I consider Lonzo as part of that group with his potential. And I just, I have a hard time committing to any of those guys in these matchups. Now, you've got Scotty Barnes, who's a rookie, but he's a dog defensively. I think he'll probably check DeRozan. Van Vliet's not a great defender, but he's going to keep ball in front of him. And, that creates some issues. Then you've got Anunoby, who I think will probably guard Levine, and he's the best defender on that team by a mile. That leaves the interior of Vukovic. And even though he's the most expensive of all 4 of them at $9K, I think going against a combination of Precious Achiuwa and a little bit of the big man Boucher and then Kem Birch, I think that's where they could be most effective. So, it's unusual, but of the 4, I think he matches up best against the Raptors. And Vuk would be the strongest play for me on that side of the ball. As far as Toronto goes, you have Van Vliet at 7.6, always capable, hard to pay up that high. But, in this kind of matchup, if it stays close enough, the potential's there. It's just the over-under so low, that is a concern. Scotty Barnes is floated up to 5.9. That makes him a little off the board for me. I think the best guy that's played the best for them is OG Anunoby, and he's still reasonable at 6.3. I think you can go there. He would be the guy on that side of the ball that I'd look at. After that, it's just too much sharing. Boucher, Dragic, Birch, Mihailuk's playing. They're all getting minutes, and creates just a little bit of uneasiness with who to go for. So. Again, on those both sides of the ball, maybe Vukovic, Anunoby as the top 2 plays there. But again, it's all about the salary like normal. All right, we have 3 games left real quickly here before we get into the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then we have a 10:30 late night sweat game, an hour and a half later than the rest. Real quickly, we'd love to have you. dfscoachtalk.com. Check us out there. Great memberships, 3-day for $10, 5-day for $19, all kinds of options there. You're going to get everything we've got as a member. We have a great relationship partnering with Pro Football Focus, all kinds of NFL stats from our man, John Wiehausen. He's our analytics director, and he's constantly, putting the numbers up there for NFL, breaking it down for us. So we're getting the most optimal lineups. We're looking at all the leverage and everything that comes into play with that. We do that for all of our sports. And again, you're going to get a coach's clipboard, which is on DraftKings, 20 to 30 minutes before every slate. That's going to have a core group and then a bunch of other players that you could choose from to fill out that lineup. So we stay within the DraftKings guidelines, but give you as much possible information as we can. We do give you full lineups on FanDuel and Yahoo, both cash and GPP. So all of that is posted in our Discord about 30 minutes before lock. So jump in if you join today, Monday, great day to start the week off. If you get the week pass or whatever, you can check out all of our sports throughout the entire week. So we'd love to have you. If you want to check us out on FanDuel, on Twitter. Yeah, FanDuel too. Twitter, I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. We're all at DFS Coach Talk. You can shoot questions there. You can, let us know if you want to sign up from there. We'll get you in our Discord and get you going. So shoot us a message there for sure. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, a quick thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the alert button in the corner so you know, on the top corner, so you know when our podcast posts. We're posting podcasts 7 days a week. We've got basketball, football, baseball, and golf, all kinds of pods going up. Crash Davis is going to be breaking down the World Series that starts on Tuesday, so that's going to be exciting, and all of our other sports going as well. If you're listening to us audio-wise, take a second again, hit the 5 stars, give us a comment. We'd really appreciate that. All right, we're going to dive into this. Last 3, 8 o'clock, Pelicans, Timberwolves. Pelicans 0-3 and not looking good at all. Timberwolves 2-0, looking really good. One of my favorite teams to root for this year. I love the T-Wolves, love the energy they bring, love the way they finished last season. For those that listened to us through last year, I was raving about Minnesota and their coach and the job they did in the second half of the season. They were focused and preparing for this season, and they have come out of the chute, and they're for real. I think they're going to really be tough in this game. They're only a 5.5 point favorite right now in Vegas. I would jump on the T-Wolves side right here. It's 222.5 right now, the over-under. And as far as injuries, Josh Hart is questionable, and we know Zion remains out. No injuries reported for the T-Wolves. And then as far as the pricing goes here, you've got decent prices for both guards. D'Angelo Russell at 7.3 and Anthony Edwards at 7.5. Do they steal each other's thunder a little bit? They do. They do take some shots from each other. And it's turning into Minnesota now being one of those teams with the 3 studs. Who do you play with D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, and Karl Anthony Towns? They all can do a tremendous job, and they all get it done. Now, I still favor Edwards a bit over Russell. Russell, he doesn't play the massive amount of minutes. Now, that's increasing, but I give a slight edge there to Edwards. And Cat's always a strong play. I think he's on this slate a terrific play at 9.7, and he's really my center of choice at this moment, especially with the Joker being that big 11K number. So Cat, definitely a strong consideration for me. On the Pelican side, you don't have the greatest pricing up and down. Yes, Brandon Ingram has been terrific for them. He's their best player. He's really somewhat of a one-man show at times, but he's an expensive 8.3. If they're going to stay in this game and Vegas is right, it's going to be closer, then, Ingram has to be considered. No question about it, because he's going to get the usage. He's going to get the shots. After that, you've got this crazy Herb Jones, who's somewhat come out of nowhere, playing big minutes and getting starts for the Pelicans. He's only 3.3K, so probably a good punt play, or if you really need value and you want to go total stars and scrubs, he is getting decent minutes. But after that, Devontae Graham at 5.4, Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 6.7, you can consider. Also Joe Val, but my concern with Joe Val is foul trouble, especially trying to guard Cat. He's 7.9, which is not cheap, but Cat's not a good defender. So there certainly can be at least a consideration there. All right, 2 games left. We've got a 9 o'clock Eastern game, and it's the Cleveland Cavaliers 1-2, Denver Nuggets 2-0. And we've got injuries. Dylan Windler for the Cavs is likely to play. The big news will be Darius Garland. He is questionable. Whether he plays or not definitely makes a difference, especially on the shot attempts from Sexton and even Markkanen. So we need to keep an eye on that news. And we know Jamal Murray remains out for the Denver Nuggets. All right, let's look at is there a line for this game yet? Yes, Denver's a 10.5 point favorite, which is understandable, and definitely have the potential, to hammer Cleveland here. So that becomes a concern. And like I mentioned before, with that in play and the fact that the Joker is 11K, I never say fade the MVP, fade the guy that's, just crushing it. But, at 11K, that's rough, man. You've got to get, big numbers from him, which is possible. But they do have the double bigs inside with Mobley and Allen. So, we'll see if they can contain him. I'm not going to go there at that big number. I'd prefer Cat at a 1.3 savings on top of it. So that's just the way I look at it. As far as the other Denver guys, Will Barton's still very fair at 5.7. Michael Porter Jr. is all the way down to 6K. And, he has yet to really have the blowout game that he could have. So those guys, I think are very well to be considered here. Ricky Rubio, will fill in if Garland can't play. He's played well, but I'm not paying 6K for him. Maybe 7 years ago, but not now. Sexton, again, at 6.7 can be considered, especially if Garland sits. Value play that's decent is Evan Mobley at 5.5. I'm sorry, Lauri Markkanen at 5.5. He's getting shots up, really, getting more minutes than expected. You can look at him. Okoro 4.1 is dirt cheap for a guy that gets big minutes as well. Those are the guys that I'd look at. I'm not going to go to the bigs here. I don't believe, 7.2 for Mobley is a little high. Jared Allen at 6.4 is very fair. I mean, that is a fair price for him. And, but the question is, you just don't know. He has some up and down games, but certainly, within reason, without question. So that is it. So let's go for the last game here. Again, it's a late night sweat game, 10:30 p.m. It is Portland and the Clippers. And as of right now, we've got the Clippers favored by 3. And this is the other big game of the night that I like. Everybody is. It's not going to be a secret. The over-under starting out is 234.5, and it makes perfect sense. You've got Norman Powell out, which, again, that elevates Lillard and McCollum. They're going to be highly owned. And then for the Clippers side, Ibaka and obviously Kawhi remain out. So, this game could be a real decider in the whole scheme of things. And again, it's that late night game. So it'll be fun to also play it as a showdown slate at the end of the night. But let's talk a little bit about some pricing here and what makes sense. Dame is 9.3. I think that's fair. I don't have a problem with 9.3 for him. He's one of my favorite buy-up plays at guard on the slate. If you want to go a little cheaper, and he outscored him the last game, CJ McCollum, as we all know, is very capable at 7.5. The backcourt of the Clippers, Jackson and Bledsoe, are not world beaters defensively. So the question is, will George switch on to Lillard or McCollum? It's possible, especially with Powell being out. But, we'll see how those matchups go. We'll look at Coach Beak and some of the beat writers to find out during the day if we're getting any tips on who's going to guard who here. After that, Nurkic at 7K, fair price. Probably not going to go there in this one. I prefer just really focusing on that backcourt. After that, there's not a ton of value. You're going to get some play, from their bench that contribute with Nance and Zeller and Simmons and Nazir Little and etc. So, yeah, I just don't think you need to go that deep there. Just that backcourt is really what makes it roll. As far as the Clipper side of the ball, Paul George at 10.1 is a big number. He's going to get some tough D from maybe Covington and a few of the guys that'll focus in on him. But, I don't know. He's carrying him, and he's MVP kind of candidate because, without Kawhi, he is the single man. But 10.1, still a little bit too high for me. I'd prefer possibly to look at Reggie Jackson here. I've been chasing Jackson a little bit. He hasn't quite gotten it done yet. And 6.5 is not cheap. I know it. But, that Lillard-McCollum defense is pretty poor, and Simon's even off the bench, not great defenders. So I really do think Reggie is poised for a good game. And in a faster paced game, like this with a high over-under, that pull-up three-point shot that he has off the dribble is pretty darn solid. And he can create some of his own shots without question. So leaning a little towards Reggie as the pay-up guy. If you're looking for value, the guy that it's usually a mainstay for me is Marcus Morris. He's sub 5K, so he's at 4.9. He's cheap on the other sites as well. And considering I think Covington's going to get some of the George responsibility, I think that may open it up a bit for Marcus Morris as a value play. That is it, my friends. 9 games up, 9 games down. We are ready to go into this awesome Monday slate and crush it for our members. Again, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Give us that thumbs up. Give us a like. Put a comment, too. Love the comments. Always answer them. Questions, anything you have. And for members that are listening, I'm really busy doing one-on-ones. I have one-on-one strategy sessions with our members. So if you're looking to do that and you haven't scheduled one yet, DM me in our Discord and we'll get you on that schedule and do a little bit of contest selection, bankroll management, and strategic build strategy. So we want you to win, not just today, but tomorrow and for the long run. And that's what we're all about here at Coach Talk. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope it really helps you in your Monday builds. And we'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with Andrew Hansen in the seat. So we'll be breaking down the games for the Tuesday slate. So thank you again. And we'll look to catch you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.